I took control of FC Barcelona and replaced all of our real players for youth academy players. We started our career in the second division of Spanish football, and let's just say things didn't go so well. We were the worst team in Spain and we faced off against Villarreal's B team as our first match in Spanish football. And unfortunately, we took quite a humbling loss. We are now at the bottom of the table in the Spanish second division. Will we be able to turn around our fortune in the second episode? Well, there's only one way to find out. Start off this episode with the departures of some real players and a couple of youth players. Now is probably a good time to explain the transfer policy. The first rule is to accept any and all transfers from Spanish teams, no matter the nature of the offer. Secondly, we must adhere to La Liga release clause rules, but that will only take effect when we get promoted. And depending on the value of our squad, we must sell all of our players between the prices of 10 million and 100 million, or at least sell enough of them to reach that goal. But after all of that admin, it's time to kick things off once more and step back onto the field in our new home stadium. That's right, we don't start off with the Camp Nou in the second division, since we've become the worst team in Spanish football. We don't get off to a good start in our second match day and our first game at home, as the opponents are able to hit the back of the net first. We can see Navarrete show his dismay and his frustrations towards his teammates. This may have worked, as near the hour mark, Escobar is sent through and he's able to put the ball into the back of the net to level up the game. Our weaknesses in dealing with set pieces is exposed by our opponents, and just like that, we concede once more, and now we are behind 2-1. Thomas Bakker finally shows up and he gives Cruz an amazing ball to set him up for a beautiful finish. But due to our poor defense, we let this game get away from us very quickly. We knew that this was not going to be easy, but still, losing in front of our home fans definitely didn't help. One of our newest youth academy graduates, Lorenzo Reyes, wanted to have a word with me, and this is what he said. Since I liked the hunger that I saw from him in this message, I felt like, okay, I'll give you a chance, I'll listen to what you're saying. And heading into the next game, we would have to see if this would change our fortunes. Our Dutch striker, who is now a winger just for this game, had a penalty and was able to put it into the back of the net. However, in one of the attacks, I noticed something very concerning, as the build-up play was very good, but when it came to the final ball, Thomas Bakker took a rushed shot and dragged it very wide. If you ask me, he looked very frustrated when he took that shot. We picked up our first win of the season, but straight after the game, Tom wanted to have a word with me as well. He wasn't happy about the changes in the last game, and he's put me in a tough spot now. Tom has a valid point here, but so did Reyes. In fact, Reyes' point won us our first game of the season. But at the same time, the man who won us that game was Tom with his penalty. I have a difficult decision to make when it comes to the tactics now, but moving away from that for a bit, I checked up on our youth academy setup, and it seems like our youth academy scouts were definitely doing their jobs, as now we have a new Spanish wonder kid to put into the team and a 15-year-old centre-back from South Africa who looks very promising. Heading back to the Reyes and Bakker situation, we finally found a solution. We'd play a 4-4-2 from now on to facilitate both strikers, but this also meant that Crespo would now be a bench player. It is now time to test out this formation in our third game in La Liga Smart Bank, but if you ask me, I don't know if it's gonna work because the chemistry between Reyes and Bakker is not looking good. Despite there being bad blood between our two strikers, the rest of the team was looking pretty solid, passing the ball in and out of the box to eventually fashion a wonderful opportunity and having an unlikely player finish it off and give us our first goal of the game. Real chance again. In the 25th minute, Bakker would be the one to get our second goal, this time linking up with Cruz with a beautiful 1-2 to put it past the goalkeeper. Picked up a nice and secure 2-0 win, and it seemed like this 4-4-2 tactic was benefiting the team. However, heading into the locker room, I saw that Reyes wasn't too happy with his performance. Off the pitch, one of our Brazilian prospects had to go out on loan because he wasn't getting any games for the first team, and I decided to make an executive decision and convert Ander Escobar into a left mid. Didn't like it at first, but I told him that it was going to make the team much better on the field. We go on a trip to Ibiza in search of 3 more points. Barker, Santos and Reyes linked up in the 30th minute to get us our first goal of the game.
And a goal!
But alas, the chemistry between these two would come to a head once more, as after Reyes made a mistake, it would cause the two to argue at the end of the game, with Barker even calling Reyes a fraud despite him apologizing. Now one part of me wants to bench Tom Barker for his lack of discipline and him thinking he can call the shots on this team. When you look at the stats, he's the best player on our team, and unfortunately I'm not sure if I can be the one to bench him. Even our newly promoted player Carvajal doesn't feel that comfortable around Barker in the locker room. I feel like Barker's bad attitude with the team may cost us the 3 points today. Barker would seem to prove me wrong, however, as in the 25th minute, he put the ball past the goalkeeper to give us a 1-0 lead. Tenerife would get a goal back, and believe it or not, this all started with a misplaced pass in our attacking third. Now after that, I really need to think about what I'm going to do with Barker and the rest of the team. But while I take the time to think about my next course of action, you can click on the video that's popping up right now as you wait for episode 3 and to find out whether or not we're going to keep Barker at the club.